Hi, here's my index card, and here's my audience.
Hi.
One of which is holding the camera. They're all alive and well.
That's a robot.
Okay, and we're going to start now. So why NCAA athletes should be paid by me. By the way, I am a Division I athlete. I'm on the University of Florida track and field team, so I have some experience, and I've been around this, heard all the debates, and this is a combination of the research I've done with my own personal experience. And I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from what I've learned on why athletes should be paid, and some of the things that back that up. So first of all, the problems that NCAA athletes face with athletics and why they should get paid. First of all, athletics is a 40-hour-a-week job at the minimum. I don't care if you're the star player, you're just doing enough to get by and be on the team. It takes tons of time outside of being in practice and weights. There's so many more things that go on besides just that. And then on top of that, everyone has school. That's a full-time thing in itself. A lot of people guarantee you could not, like a regular person tried to be an athlete and balance it out. It's not going to happen. Secondly, student athletes must miss school when they have your games or whatever is going on. If you got a tournament, you're missing a lot of school, and getting notes from classmates or from the teacher is totally different than when you're there learning it. So that's a big, and you're still required to do the exact same stuff with really, maybe some times change, you can take an exam later, but the extra time that you're getting to go take that exam, it's because you weren't able to do anything because you were being an athlete. You were off at a competition. Next is NCAA. The NCAA and universities make tons of money off student athletes. In fact, the NCAA made $11 billion, and that is more than the entire NHL's budget of paying their professional athletes. And almost nothing goes back to the athletes. And personally, I don't think scholarships count anything because that does not cover everything. Moving on from there, we have some of the solutions, proof, and some objections to the other side of this. Start off, I think the solution is equal pay for athletes among all the athletes at a university, which is also referring to Title IX, that everybody's equal. And based off each individual university's success is how I think that should be rated, because just as coaches get bonuses and stuff based on their performance, that's how the athletes should get it. So, simple example, if $1,000 a month is a base, or $1,000 a semester is a base thing for all universities. If, let's say, your university won 4 sports, had NCAA titles, I think they should get a little bit more. I'm not saying they need to get 4 times as much, but there should be some reward for the effort that the athletes are putting in, because that means less time that they're focusing on school and more on athletics. Which is basically just like coaches, which is referring from Mark Endelman of Forbes, spoke great detail about. Next, we have the Flutie effect, which came from Doug Flutie from Boston College, which is when universities have great success after, winning a national title, they get more enrollment, and that helps the university out. They get a lot more things happening on TV and stuff, so they get their name out there and they get paid for all of this. So that's benefiting the university, but that's all because of what the athletes did. So I think that the athletes should see something like that. There's also used goods, as referred to by Crystal Berman of the University of Texas of Alberton in Texas. They did research on the athletes, how most of them are going to school and they're getting these scholarships to go to school, but they're not getting an education, they're just getting a degree. And that degree a lot of times means nothing for most of the athletes because they're just there to stay eligible and basically make money for the school. Moving on from that, some of the objections is everyone says, oh, the athletes are getting scholarship. Okay, scholarships does not pay everything. And that's only the people that get full rides. If they get a full ride, yes, they get a lot paid for, but what about all the other athletes on the team? I believe the average collegiate football roster is 110 guys, but they only have 85 full rides. Everyone else doesn't get $1. Yes, they get the gear and all that stuff and some of the tutor help, but that's just to give them a fighting chance. And then you look at sports like track and field, one of my pro sports, you get 12.6 scholarships for a team of 50 guys. If there's a full ride, they're pretty rare and far between. So a lot of people are paying their own way anyways. And then also looking at that, when you're working basically 2 jobs, you have your athletics and you have your school, where are you supposed to fit in a job? I've done it, it's near impossible. You basically give up sleep or time to study because you have to pay for things. So that's some of the objections. Moving on from that, I guys just want you to visualize what could happen in 10 to 20 years if this doesn't get fixed. I'm going to tell you the same thing is athletes are going to get taken advantage of, and they're going to basically, as college is getting harder and athletes aren't getting any help to maintain that, it's just going to get worse and worse for the athletes. But on the other hand, if the NCAA does change this, I think it would make it more doable for athletes to live more of a college life and not have to worry about the little things of how am I going to buy clothes, how am I going to pay rent, all these different things. Quick story is Ray Lewis talked about when he was in college, he owned 1 pair of jeans for 4 years. That's all he ever had. And he ate only the food that he got from the university. He had no money for anything else whatsoever. I mean, that's just pretty vividly of what a lot of college athletes go through because a lot of them don't have any other options. And then going on to the conclusion, how I think people can help is if there was a unionization in NCAA athletics between the athletes, as well as if people start petitioning, that could help as well. To go back over some of the main points, I think it's why athletes should get paid is that they're basically working 2 full-time jobs and then expected to make it after that. They also are making all this money for the school, $11 billion, and not seeing any of that, as well as they have to do all the same work while they miss all their classes and everything. And finally, as a whole wrap up, I think college athletes should get paid for the reasons I discussed. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions?
If NCAA athlete were to get paid for someone like buying their jersey or their likeness, like Tim Tebow,
Yes.
do you think they should be capped at a certain amount, or should they be able to get unlimited from using their likeness in the video game or sign their jersey?
I don't believe unlimited, but I think there should be some benefit, just as I spoke on, like teams win national championship. They should get a reward from that. Whether it's even a thing such as like it goes all into an account, they can't touch it while they're an athlete in terms of like jersey sales and stuff. But they should reap some kind of benefit from that. Yes.
Do you think that could be referred to as like a bonus or something? You know, because obviously the athlete had to be very good at said sport that they're participating in. Do you think that's like what they would qualify it as if they were to be paid now? Would that just be a bonus?
Like a bonus?
Like if it's their likeness that's being kind of used to help the team and things like that? Like, do you think so? Like, for example, Tim Tebow, you know, his jersey's sold all around the country and everything like that.
Yeah.
The amount of money that's being made off of his likeness, you know, should he be the only one to reap the benefits, or do you think it should be spread amongst the whole team?
So this is where, in the research I did, there's Title IX. No matter how fair or unfair it is, that is the rule, and that's what has to be gone by. So I think that yes, he should see something, but also everyone else needs to see something and that's why I was saying before, in the specific universities based on their success. That way it's more fair to the overall population of the athletes, not just any one individual. Which that's where a lot of the debate goes, is that it's like, oh well, you have these 3 or 4 people that are, the
Right.
big names, and they're generating all this money every time their name is announced on TV, every time anything. That's where like money every single time. So that's where it gets tough. But I think the Title IX thing, like, it can be spread.
Okay.
So that's any other questions?
One more.
Okay.
What's your opinion on cost of attendance? Just playing devil's advocate here with as another objection. People
Yeah.
say that there's cost of attendance now, so why shouldn't you be able to have more than one pair of jeans or things like that? Like, what would you say about cost of attendance?
Well, I mean, you can look at it a lot of different ways. I mean, we have regulations. If somehow you find time to have a job, you're limited. I believe it's 10 hours a week. You can't work more than. At least UF of what I've experienced and y'all have. I mean, if let's say you're working minimum wage, which roughly $8.25 an hour, so you're maybe gonna bring home $70 a week. And I mean, I know Training Table, our dining is 4 days a week at night. What do you do the other 3 nights of the week? I mean, and that's just saying you're doing that. That's not anything from, I get room and board. Well, how do I pay for laundry detergent to wash my sheets? So I think there's so many things that play into it. I think that's why it's such a big topic and so many
Right.
problems come into it.
Mm-hmm.
Did that answer your question, Ryan?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Barrett.
As a student athlete, as a women's basketball player, practice player at the university, what steps are being made to change these things? Has it ever broken through to the NCAA, or are the rules just sitting there not even close to being changed?
There's people trying constantly, but then everyone's getting shut down by the NCAA because they kind of have final say, and there's no union for the athletes to bargain with them.
They made all the rules.
Yeah, they made the rules, so they have basically last say on everything, no matter what. Even if the universities want to pay the athletes or give them some kind of compensation, they can't, because an athlete will lose their eligibility if they take anything.
Yay.
Also,